Avoidance has become the normalised way of being. Everyone does it. It's a lesson taught and learnt by all. Monkey do what monkey see. And because everyone avoids, in whatever areas, to whatever degree, the subject of avoidance is usually avoided. It's a deceptively simple strategy which has become firmly entrenched. Once you start seeing it, you see it everywhere, and it's the biggest elephant in the room of all time. The aim of avoidance is self-protection, to minimise anxiety and disappointment. It's learnt in childhood when faced with emotional trauma, then further reinforced throughout the adult years. How you respond to anxiety and the various disappointments you encounter massively influences who you become. You end up only hearing what you want to hear and selectively seeing what you want to see. This has the consequence of distorting your perception of reality and placing barriers or limitations in your way. So although this strategy seems sensible on a superficial level, short term, it seriously backfires, dumbing you down according to the extent of your no-go areas. And it just happens. It creeps up on you through conditioning, so you won't be fully aware of what's been going on. It seriously sucks. As people are intelligent, avoidance can become increasingly subtle and complex, although a lot of it remains basic and blatant. It rapidly becomes habitual, ever-present and ever-ready. It's rarely challenged or discussed, so it just builds up and up. As well as the self-imposed limitations to keep you safe from further emotional hurt, you end up carrying a lot of psychological baggage around, as if life wasn't challenging enough already. It messes you up big time, in countless knotted tangles, and when you realise this dysfunction, untangling yourself is easier said than done if you don't know exactly what's what. The usual response is just to shrug your shoulders and carry on as before. The most common form of avoidance is making excuses. Another is blaming others. There's minimisation, trivialisation and intellectualisation. Intentional forgetfulness is another trick. Some retreat into fantasy, some sink into outright denial. All of this projection, displacement and deflection has a knock-on effect of further complicating everything. Again, what a mess. Looking at the bigger picture, society reflects the dysfunction of individuals with countless instances of unnecessary suffering. The problems of some are deflected onto others, creating an escalating mess. The world is poorer, average levels of psychological health are low. Individual conscience is suppressed, including shutting off to the pain of others. I'm all right, Jack dominates. There's confusion, frustration and contradiction, rather than the clarity of a way forward because of the defensive barriers. Dreams are often crushed or just left ignored, gathering dust on the shelf. Rather than a fulfilling life of continual improvement, you quickly give in to burying your head in the sand or being stuck in mud. You become comfortably numb. Avoidance is the root cause of emotional irrationality, and it affects individuals of whatever intelligence level whenever their defensive barriers are rattled. It's an immature and cowardly way of dealing with unpleasant situations. The time for human beings to grow up is long overdue. So what's considered to be normal is in fact subnormal. Limitations and dysfunction are normalised, tolerated. Peak psychological health remains little more than a potential when it should be achieved as standard. The whole world should be screaming out for fundamental change. Which brings us back to the problem of only hearing what you want to hear.